And just to start,
I hate popular shit. That's a remake. It's not a prequel.
how is it not a prequel? You're in the airplane. That's an action movie.
There gotta be some hand-to-hand combat at some point.
That's what love and romantic movies are about. It would be probably in my top 5. Maybe. It's a pretty good list. If anyone's confused, shit out of luck.
Sorry, my Prada's in the cleaners, along with my hoodie and my you flip-flops, you pretentious douche.
Welcome back to Pretentious Douchebag Movie Talk. St. Patrick's Day edition. Now, I was told that maybe I should do an Irish accent throughout the whole thing, but as Irish as I am, that would just get horrible quickly. But today I'm doing an American version of a top 5 when it comes to Irish movies. Boston. As a sports fan, Boston is like Titletown USA right now. They just win championships pretty much every other 2-3 years. And as a Boston Bruins fan, I wish they would have more, but I still got that 2011 hanging up. When it comes to the Red Sox, they're not the Yankees, so I'm cool with it. The Patriots, they kept the Bills down for about 20 years. Made me very happy. The Celtics, go Lakers, beat Boston. But we're not doing sports tonight. We're talking movies, and I'm going to do the top 5 Boston movies of all time. I also thought about doing a Boston accent throughout this whole thing, but my wife would never watch it, and she might leave me because of it. Starting out with some OLIs. 2 movies that are great movies, but I have a hard time rewatching, so they can't go in the top 5. And it's Mystic River and Manchester by the Sea. Casey Affleck winning Best Actor for Manchester. Sean Penn winning Best Actor for Mystic River. 2 movies that are basically defined by their acting, and they're well deserved, but not exactly rewatchable movies. One movie that people will be disappointed by not being in the top 5. That's okay. But again, it's my top 5. The Boondock Saints. Of course, we all love it. It's actually one of the first Boston movies you think of for anyone my age. It's a cult classic, great music, great Boston aura. But when we're talking about quality of movies, it doesn't reach top 5. But still, an absolute enjoyable movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Well, let's get into the top 5. Number 5, Gone Baby Gone. Ben Affleck's directorial debut, starring his brother Casey Affleck, Morgan Freeman, Amy Ryan, who was nominated for her role, and Ed Harris. There was a stretch of really bad Ben Affleck movies in the early to mid 2000s, so he decided to dip his toe into directing. Something that goes wrong about 99% of the time. But he smartly picked a Boston location, cast his younger brother, who was kind of ready to take off, all-time great supporting actors, also an intriguing kidnapping story, which that's all people like to watch nowadays. So you'll definitely enjoy it if you're into the true crime drama, which I know my co-working at podcaster, Woso, is into. So he not only dipped his toes into the directing waters, he dove headfirst and made a giant splash. It really kickstarted the Ben Affleck comeback story in Hollywood. It's a really intriguing movie. It does a good job of highlighting Boston, dark side of Boston. But we had to wonder, was it going to be a one-hit wonder for Ben Affleck? Find out later in the list. Number 4, Spotlight. An ode to good old-fashioned journalism. It's a story near and dear to my relapsed Christian heart. It's about the investigation into the Catholic Church in the Boston area in the years surrounding all the sexual abuse that they covered up. Doesn't sound like a fun movie, but the way they film it, it's very, very interesting. It's fast-paced. It's witty. It can be sneakily funny at points when it needs to be, but it really highlights how important journalism is back then and nowadays especially, and why it's still needed. A true ensemble movie cast. You got Michael Keaton, Rachel McAdams, Mark Ruffalo, who's just crazy in this one. Pretty sure he got Oscar nominated for it. Stanley Tucci and Liev Schreiber. A lot of movies try to do investigative journalism well, and they don't really come up with the right plot, character, circumstance. But this one just absolutely nailed it and ended up winning Best Picture in 2015. Number 3, The Departed. DiCaprio, Nicholson, Damon, Wahlberg, a dream team of Irish mobsters. The film that finally gave Martin Scorsese his much deserved, long awaited Best Director Oscar. It's basically a rat and mouse game. See what I did there? Matt Damon has infiltrated the Boston PD. Leo has earned his way into Jack's mob crew. And it's basically a back and forth of who's going to get caught first. Also, an incredible scene stealing performance from Mark Wahlberg. Every line in this movie hits like 1,000 bricks, whether it's funny, scary, memorable. That's all you can say.
You rise fast.
Like a 12-year-old's dick. Unfortunately, this shithole has more leaks than the Iraqi Navy.
Yourself.
I'm tired from your wife.
How's your mother?
Good, she's tired from my father.
Who put the cameras in this place? Oh, who the are you?
I'm the guy who does his job. You must be the other guy.
Also nominated for an Oscar. This felt like a giant culmination for Scorsese, who had done a lot of mafia movies around Casino, Goodfellas, Mean Streets. And he finally was like, you know what? I'm going to do Boston. I'm going to do The Irish. And look what happened. Wins Best Picture, wins Best Director. Hot take, it's better than Goodfellas. Also, a quick shout out to Dropkick Murphys. All-time song for an all-time movie. Number 2, Good Will Hunting. Look who's back. Damon and Affleck write their phenomenal screenplay at 25 years old and instantly become Hollywood royalty. It's an intriguing premise about a janitor from Harvard who is secretly a genius mathematician, but also is very troubled and gets in trouble with the law. Doesn't really like being bossed around. Can't really blame him. But the movie doesn't really take off until Robin Williams shows up. An Academy Award winning performance that I truly felt for the first time as a young kid. Oh my God, Robin Williams is on another level. You see him, you think of him as the genie, you see him in these crazy comedy roles, and then he steps into this, and it's a very serious, with subtle comedy, where obviously he excels at. But him and Damon on the bench scene, it's just an all-time great monologue that I never thought Robin Williams could do. And it just shows the sheer talent that man had. He even improvised one of the greatest finishing lines in movie history.
I had to go see about a girl. Well, son of a bitch. He stole my life.
And it's because of that screenplay by Damon and Affleck that we got one of the most famous quotes of all time. Do you like apples?
Do you like apples?
Yeah.
Well, I got a number. How do you like them apples?
And number 1, the greatest Boston movie of all time, The Town. Oh, hey, Affleck's back. Directing again. This time starring in his own movie. Kind of pompous, but I'm cool with it because he nailed it. He should just stick with Boston movies. I know he's kind of ventured out a little bit. Argo is really good, don't get me wrong, but stick with Boston. You know it so well. The movie centers around Charlestown, where technically it's the most bank robberies per capita that happen in the world. Just a crazy stat. So you got Affleck and his best friend, played flawlessly by Jeremy Renner, and the rest of his crew. They basically knock off banks, bank trucks, and it all kind of leads to the old cliche, one more job. But it's not cliche when that one last job, as they call it, the Cathedral of Boston, Fenway Park. On the other side of the coin, you got John Hamm, who leads the FBI investigation into it. A little overacting, but John Hamm, we're cool. I think it was the third time I watched that movie where I realized the bar girl that hooks up with Affleck is Blake Lively. I still don't fully believe that. She is too beautiful to ever look like that. The makeup department should have won every award that year. She is completely unrecognizable and kind of showed off her acting chops. High tension, car chases, shootouts, and probably the greatest ride or die scene in the history of movies.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people.
Whose car are we gonna take?
The Town, the perfect Boston movie. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Slanche.